ROTC, Petty Officer Second Class Mackenzie Holmes, the Air Force ROTC, Second Lieutenant Lucas Sochinsky, and our moderator and member of the selection board from the Military Academy, Captain Daniel White. I want to thank everybody who's here tonight to engage. You all reaffirm that our young people are ready and eager to serve our country and defend our shared values, liberty, justice for all, equality, fairness, democracy. And, you know, I just really want to speak briefly to the young people, to the students who've joined us this evening. Thank you all, first and foremost, for your dedication and your interest in military service. Seeking an appointment to a military service academy or ROTC program shows a great sense of purpose and commitment to service. These are deeply uncertain times and incredibly challenging times. And I'm grateful for your motivation to serve during these times. To the parents on tonight's call, thank you for supporting your children's interest in this undertaking. These applications are extensive and time-consuming. And to the educators, thank you for your work in helping the growth and development of our young people's passion and early interest in service. I'm very happy to see folks taking the time to better understand this process and advocate for their applicants' success. I want to speak a little bit about the application process. The process of applying for a military service academy is a multifaceted and demanding. And the honor of attending one of these institutions is no different. Last year, I was proud, very proud, to have 10 students who I nominated from all across the district receive appointments to the service academies. That's right, 10. Here in New York 19, our process is run through a military service academy selection board. The board is made up of military academy graduates, veterans, and community leaders, and offers unparalleled insights into the qualities an individual must possess to meet the challenges of the academy programs and following graduation as commissioned officers. The board works to make the service academy nomination process professional and nonpartisan, bringing their unique perspectives and experience to the application and interviews, while demonstrating the myriad of opportunities available following your service. Now, tonight's virtual information forum is an opportunity for individuals in our community interested in the U.S. Service Academies and the ROTC programs to hear directly from representation or representatives of these institutions. The event will run as follows. Each one of our distinguished panelists will give a short presentation to provide information about their schools, the admissions process, eligibility, and programs. Then they will be available to answer questions submitted by the folks viewing prior to tonight's event. The moderator will read the submissions and give each of our panelists an opportunity to respond. On the fall 2021 applications, if you haven't, or if you already have submitted the application and you're ready to go, I wish you all the best. And if you're looking to receive a nomination to serve to a service academy from my office, the application is open for the fall of 2021 on delgado.house.gov, delgado.house.gov. Now, time is running out on submission of completed applications. You have to do so before the end of this month. Visit my website or reach out to my office if you have any additional questions. I'll now turn it over for tonight's discussion to the moderator, West Point grad and member, as noted earlier, of the Academy Board, Captain Daniel White. Thank you all again, and really look forward to having this forum. Appreciate you. God bless.
Thank you, Congressman Delgado. We appreciate you. Thanks, everybody, for coming on the call. Just to echo what the Congressman said, and again, I'm Daniel White, 2012, West Point graduate, served for about 6 years in the military, got out, went to graduate school at Columbia. Now I serve in the Pentagon, working on Space Force, international affairs policy. And I've sat on the nomination committee for the past 5 years, and I've seen a variety of candidates, and I've served across administrations. Congresswoman who I've served under. So what we're going to do is is have each of the panelists go through for about 5 minutes to talk about their particular avenues of service. So that way everybody's on the call. As mentioned before, the parents, students, and educators can understand what that value proposition and process is. After that, we will move on to questions. So heading off, we're going to start with the U.S. Military Academy and Captain Isaac Wire. Captain Wire.
Thank you, Daniel. And I just wanted to thank Congressman Delgado and his staff for putting this whole thing together. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Captain Isaac Wire. I'm a 2016 West Point graduate. And so 5 minutes is not a whole lot of time, so I'm just gonna quickly go over what West Point is, and then I'll go over the quick overview of the admissions process. And then if you have any questions at the end, you're more than free to ask them after all the other panelists have gone through. So West Point's mission is to educate, train, and inspire the Corps of Cadets so that each graduate is a commissioned leader of character, committed to the values of duty, honor, country, and prepared for a career of professional excellence and service to the nation as an officer in the United States Army. So really what we're all about at West Point is developing leaders of character. And so how exactly do we do that? So we have 4 pillars that are dedicated towards developing cadets to become those leaders of character. We have an academic pillar, a military pillar, a physical pillar, and then a character pillar, which is kind of entwined in the other 3 pillars. So we have staff and faculty that are there solely for the purpose of developing you in that specific pillar. And so from the academic perspective, the kinds of classes that you can expect to take, you take a pretty well-rounded curriculum. On average, you take about 20 credit hours. We are a STEM-focused school, like most of the other academies. So you take some engineering courses. From the physical perspective, you'll take boxing, military movement, which is kind of like rudimentary gymnastics. And then every semester, you take about 1 or 2 PE courses to help prepare you so that when you graduate, you're ready and you're physically able to perform well in the military and to also lead your troops and train them as well. And the military pillar, most of your military development will take place during the summertime. That's when you have your basic course, your cadet basic course, you do your field training exercises and all of that good stuff during the summertime. And then you'll also have opportunities to go on internships. You have opportunities to travel the world and get to see and experience things outside of West Point. And so what exactly are we looking for in our applicants? So we're looking for well-rounded individuals, and hope y'all are taking notes because I'm about to give you the secret recipe to what you need to do to get into West Point. So 60% of the evaluation is going to be your academic ability. And so that's going to be assessed through your GPA and your test scores, SAT and ACT. So things are a little bit different this year because of COVID. We are considering other things. If you haven't had the opportunity to take the SAT or ACT, we understand, and we'll use your PSATs in place of that. But if you are able to take the tests, I highly encourage you to do so. And the other 30% of the evaluation is your leadership potential. And that's assessed through your extracurriculars and your athletics. So really what we're looking for are applicants that have propensity towards leadership. So I think there's some noise back there. Okay, so things that show leadership, like from an athletic perspective, team captain, student body president, vice president, really Boy State, Girl State, Eagle Scout, and anything like that shows that you're a leader in your community, you're a leader in your school, and that you're willing to step up and take leadership positions. And then the final 10% of the evaluation is physical fitness, and that's assessed through the Canada Fitness Assessment that consists of a 1 mile run, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, a basketball throw, and a shuttle sprint. And then also as part of the application, yes?
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. Yes, also as part of the application process, you must receive a nomination from a congressman. So you're eligible to apply for a nomination through your district congressman, as well as both state senators and also the vice presidential one as well. And then you must also receive a physical from the Department of Defense Medical Evaluation and Review Board. And once you've completed all those things, then you'll be potentially or you qualify to be looked at for an appointment. All right, I think I'm out of time. So if you have any questions, I'm looking forward to hear them at the end.
Thanks so much, Captain. We're going to move now to Ensign Polo for his presentation.
Can everyone hear me okay, Mr. White? Okay, so thank you, Congressman, for letting me speak on behalf of the U.S. Naval Academy, and for all those in attendance, thank you for expressing interest in learning about some really cool and neat opportunities. So a little bit of personal background real quick. So my name is Ensign Anthony Polo. I'm a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy class of 2020, which just happened this past May. I was born and raised in Long Island, New York, not too far from where many of you are, Mineola area. My major at the Academy was aerospace engineering, and my career path, once I'm done working with the admissions department these next few weeks, is to head down to Navy Flight School to begin my career as a Navy pilot. But enough about me, honestly. Who are we? What is the United States Naval Academy? So I like to give a lot, and the Academy likes to show the numbers to each of you. So who are we about the numbers? 8-to-1 faculty ratio to student ratio. And what that means is we are invested in educating our midshipmen to be the best capable officers. So really low class sizes. The most I've ever had were 25, and usually they're around 20, especially when you get into your major and STEM classes. Graduation rate is 90%, and that's for our 4-year rate. 4-year tuition cost, $0, although there is a service obligation, which I'll get into, and then post-graduation employment, 100%. So Yard, our location is very unique. It's in Annapolis, Maryland, and for those that don't know where exactly that is, that's about 45 minutes east of Washington, D.C., and 30 minutes south of Baltimore. The Yard is a wonderful place. I wish you all have the opportunity to visit it. Hopefully after COVID dies down, you will. It's a very unique location, very nice. You're honestly a few feet away once you walk out the gate from being in historic downtown Annapolis, and there's a lot to do. So our location's diverse, our services are diverse, and our candidate pool is diverse, which makes us quite unique. So what does USNA have to offer to each of you? Big thing is we're an undergraduate education degree program, 4-year college. Everyone, regardless of their major, graduates with a Bachelor of Science. And that's because regardless of if you're an aerospace engineering major or an English major, there are certain classes that everyone has to take. So as a result, everyone gets a Bachelor of Science degree. As I mentioned, full scholarships, so tuition, room, board, meals, medical and dental are all covered. All that is offered with the understanding that you will commission as a Navy or Marine Corps officer and owe 5 years of service. Navy's unique in that there's a lot of different career paths, and you can go aviation, you can go submarine warfare, you could go surface warfare, or you could go Marine Corps. So there's a lot of different opportunities available to our candidates. Majors, they're divided into 3 main ones, 3 groups. First group, engineering and weapons. So it's like your technical STEM courses. The lower level STEM, non-engineering, are group 2, so mathematics and science, and then we have humanities and social sciences. The only minors that are offered are language minors, and those do open up some experience opportunities to study abroad and do some travel. Athletics, we're a D1 school, similar to how Air Force and West Point is. The big thing is whether you're varsity or club, we compete at a national level. So our club athletics, just because they're not varsity, very competitive and compete across the country just like varsity would. Intramurals, so everyone at the academy is an athlete, and that's a big part of it. So regardless of if you're on a formal sport, you will have to take part in some form of athletics, which if you're not on a team, it's an intramural, so it's a pickup game, intramural evolutions between company mates. So what's the application process like? So briefly, the online application, there's different parts for the candidate and for those that are helping the candidate review, such as letters of recommendation. So it starts with a preliminary application that opens up March 1st of your junior year. For those applying to our summer programs, those are open the January of your junior year as well, and that will count as your preliminary application. And there's different components, as you can see, of the actual application, including a blue and gold officer interview, English teacher, math teacher recommendations, and school official recommendations, as well as a candidate fitness assessment. So each of those, the ones where you provide an email address, they'll send that person a form for them to fill out and help complete that part of your application on the student's behalf. So admission process, 16,000 preliminary and summer applications results into 12,000 official candidates. As was previously mentioned, you need to be the academy qualified, physically qualified, and medically qualified, as well as obtain a nomination from a congressional source in order to be eligible to compete for an appointment. So of all those factors, about 3,400 get a nomination, are triple qualified, cleared, and screened, and that results in being eligible to screen for an appointment. So 1,100 offers of appointment are offered each year. If you do not get in, about a third of people that attend the U.S. Naval Academy are not direct from high school. I fortunately was, but a third aren't. I was surprised to see that there were a lot from either prior college experience or prior service. So there are preparatory programs. So Naval Academy Preparatory School in Newport, Rhode Island has between 230 and 250 rather. Midshipmen and candidates go through it each year, and they just go the next following year and start their academy career. As well as the foundation program is about 40 or 50 slots each year. So the big things, advice for admission. So strong foundation in math and science, because everyone that graduates from the Naval Academy has a degree, a Bachelor of Science. So really foundation. Everyone has to take 3 semesters of calculus, as well as 2 semesters of physics. So that back in high school really helps, is what the admission board is looking for. There's no minimum GPA. However, we rather prefer to see a candidate take really challenging classes. So those AP classes, honor classes. We want candidates to be challenging themselves both inside and outside the classroom, but inside the classroom, take those challenging classes. We'd much rather see you get an A in an AP course rather than an A+ in a easier level course. And then also well-rounded both in and out of the classroom. So take on leadership potential and any sort of outside extracurriculars that are of interest to you, whether it be sports or something else. So top 5 reasons, so maybe scholarships or 0 you actually have to pay for, although there's a service obligation. Guaranteed employment, working in some of the most diverse groups of people and diverse mission sets around the world. A location in the Naval Academy is perfect, right in the heart of historic downtown Annapolis. Walk out the gate, you can get ice cream, get fresh food from restaurants, really incomparable. And then number 4 is a big point for me, leadership and character development. You asked me to do this brief 4 years ago, 5 years ago when I was applying, I probably would have been a deer in the headlights. The amount of development that goes into an individual officer and midshipman before they graduate is really astonishing. And then 89% graduation rate over the course of 4 years. So that's all the Naval Academy social media inputs. In case you want to be interested, we have Facebook and all the other ones. And then if you want to bother and contact me, not bother, but I'll be happy to answer any questions. That's my email and personal cell number. So reach out if you have anything. But thank you.
Thanks, Ensign Pello. I appreciate that. And if everybody who's on the call, all the folks who are interested, please remember to mute your microphones. Okay. And now we're going to transition into Second Lieutenant Brown, please.
Can everybody hear me? Just a quick thumbs up. Perfect. Sounds good. So good evening, everybody. I'm Second Lieutenant George Brown. Thank you all for being here tonight and taking your time out of your day to do so. Congressman Delgado, thank you for having me as well. So just to get started, what separates us from other service academies and even state schools here on the East Coast is we're located on the foothills of the Rocky Mountain. So our campus is in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is about an hour south of Denver and around 20 minutes away from downtown Colorado Springs. Each city is growing rapidly, and being there is absolutely breathtaking, and I personally miss it a lot. Even this picture is kind of hard to capture the beauty of the place, so hopefully you all can get out there to look at it. So for our academics, we do have a world-class facility and dedicated faculty that's determined to see you succeed. Some of our facilities do include a satellite program where cadets build satellites and send them off into orbit. We also have multiple wind tunnels for our aero lab, and as well as a cadaver lab for our bio department. And the list doesn't end there. We do boast an 8-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio with an average class size of around 20. And something that's unique is we have something called EI, or extra instruction, and this definitely helped me. And this is where teachers are mandated to stay after hours to help you with any homework or any problems that you may have. Additionally, this is one of the reasons why we are ranked number 3 for public colleges in the U.S., as well as the top 10 for numerous engineering fields. We do focus on the whole person concept, so our humanities and liberal arts are ranked highly as well. Once you're at the academy, you must participate in some type of team sport. We have an expansive sport program that includes 27 Division I teams, and they're all, they're compromising of 17 men's and 10 women's teams. So if you are recruited, your scholarship isn't dependent on continuing to play the sport. You can always step away and focus on academics or any other hobbies that you may have. If you aren't recruited, however, every team does have the option to try out, giving you the chance to walk on, and that's actually what I did. I was able to walk on to the track team while I was there. But if you're interested in being recruited, go to www.goairforcefalcons.com, and you can apply there. We also have many club sports that compete at the D2 and D3 level. They're very competitive, and they do travel just like our D1 teams. Lastly, we have our squadron intramurals, and this is really for people that don't want to commit so much time to sports, and these are only played a few weeks out of each semester. Now, what really sets us apart from the other service academies is our airmanship programs. Every freshman, they will have an opportunity to get at least 5 flights in a glider aircraft, or basically an engineless aircraft, as you can see on the left-hand side. This is just to introduce cadets to the basics of aviation. We do offer a parachuting program as well, and you can get 5 solo free falls, and it's the only place in the country and the world where your first jump is solo. But you don't have to worry because there's 40 hours of ground training time that'll help you prepare for the first moment. We also have a powered flight program to help you validate if you really do want to fly, and I utilize this to figure out that I do want to go pilot. Last but not least, we do have a UAS and RPA program, and this is basically just our drone program. So here are some of our career opportunities, or all of our career opportunities. We have 35 different career fields to choose from upon graduation. 50% of the graduation class will go into pilot, and starting new last year, around 10% will go into the Space Force. We do offer the opportunity to go to graduate school as well, and roughly 10% will go to law school, medical school, and public policy. Once you do graduate, you'll serve a minimum of 5 years as a commissioned officer in the Air Force or Space Force, and maybe more depending on if you go to graduate school or if you go into a job that requires extensive training, such as pilot. So to get started on the application process, especially if you're a senior, go to academyadmissions.com and you can click apply now, and you can start on your pre-candidate questionnaire. If you're a junior though, the pre-candidate questionnaire opens up March of your junior year, and then if COVID allows, fingers crossed, summer seminar opens up December of your junior year, and this will allow you to come and visit the academy. If you're not a junior yet, Future Falcon program is open up grades 6 through 11. Also, make sure you're following us on social media. We have all the big 3 platforms. So we're currently aware, many of the issues that you all are facing right now, especially with getting ACTs and SATs scheduled. We're currently allowing candidates to go all the way to the final selection board without test scores and just your GPA. We also pushed back the deadline to accept tests all the way to February 2021. So if the date approaches and you still don't have a test scheduled or it keeps getting canceled, please make sure you're maintaining contact with yourself and counselor so they know exactly what's going on. Also, you can always reach out to me, as I'm the Academy Admissions Advisor for New York region. 1 minute. So just to wrap things up, and this is true for all service academies, is you're not going to be paying for tuition if you go. You won't be paying for room and board. Your medical and dental is paid for. And actually, as a cadet, you get paid every month to have spending money, and you can spend it, how you see fit. But right now, especially now, people are having a hard time finding a job right out of college, and you'll have a guaranteed career as soon as you graduate. So, I think really what you really need to think about, what's really important too is you're signing up to join something that's bigger than yourself, and you're going to lead members of the Air Force, and you're going to be a great leader to serve our armed forces. So again, I just want to say thank you for coming out tonight, and I look forward to any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Brown. Now we're going to transition into the Coast Guard Academy with Lieutenant Emily Torres.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank Congressman Delgado again for hosting this event for all of us, as well as Captain White for being our moderator. I'm Lieutenant Junior Grade Emily Torsney. I'm the Northeast Admissions Officer here at the Coast Guard Academy, which means I'm your admissions officer. I cover the New York region as well. I'm your primary resource as you navigate the application process. So a little bit about the Coast Guard Academy. We are located in New London, Connecticut, 103 acres, right along the Thames River. We are situated in a really prime location in that we are right outside of Hartford, Connecticut. We are not too far from New York City, and we are not too far from Boston, Massachusetts, about an hour to each. So it's definitely ideal location in terms of opportunity for places to go if you choose to leave the campus. The campus itself is so beautiful. That being said, I'll transition right into the academy itself. So the academy is a little over 1,000 students in our Corps of Cadets. So we're smaller of the service academies, but that means we have a 7-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio. We have 9 majors, all with a STEM focus. 2 majors that are not as STEM focused include government and management. However, they all result in a Bachelor of Science, which is pretty unique to receive a government and management degree with a Bachelor of Science. And that's because your core courses, your 4th class or freshman year, are science-based. So for those who are currently in high school as underclassmen in high school, definitely start to see if you can look into taking either calculus or pre-calculus, physics and chemistry. Those are our 3 target courses that will help prepare you for our curriculum and make for a competitive application. So going on, in addition to government and management, I love to point out the cyber systems major. It's our newest major. So new, in fact, that we don't have any graduates from it. Currently the the second classes or the juniors are our highest level class with that major. So once they graduate, they'll get to go straight into an operational career path with cyber. For the Coast Guard itself, what I like to point out is we are Department of Homeland Security, not Department of Defense. We have a humanitarian mission, and we have 11 statutory missions that we follow. When a lot of people talk to me about the Coast Guard and they ask what I do, the first thing out of their mouth is, oh, you jump out of helicopters into the water to save people that are drowning, right? And I'm like, well, yes, but I don't. And then they go, oh, okay, so you must be out there chasing, drug runners and migrant interdiction, things of that nature. And I'm like, we do that too, but I don't do that. And so my point here is the fact that the Coast Guard is vast in its career opportunities and involvements, and our missions are overlapping, intertwining. We work with a number of different organizations as well. So in addition to those classic search and rescue, drug and migrant interdiction operations that we do, we also cover aids to navigation, support the marine transportation system. We do ICE operations, we do marine environmental protection, we do ports and waterway security. So really there is a diverse amount of opportunity in the Coast Guard itself. And we also have opportunity for those who want to fly. We do have a lot of aviators in the Coast Guard who are always in need of pilots.
Well, we missed a lot.
Going forward with that, in addition to the little over 1,000 cadets that we have at the Academy, 38% of them are female. 35% are minority students. We represent all 50 states as well as 20 nations. We guarantee 100% job placement because you have that 5-year service obligation after the academy. You receive $400,000 in a tuition-free education, also with a stipend for yourself, which is pretty fabulous. Flight school opportunities, grad school opportunities, and then my favorite statistic I love to share is our 85% graduate retention rate. So that does not mean the amount of students that graduate from, they come in their swab summer and then graduate. No, this stat is how many individuals choose to stay in the Coast Guard following their 5-year service obligation. So I think it's a huge testament to our service itself. So 85% of those graduates staying after their 5-year service obligation. 3 pillars that we focus on in the Coast Guard are military, academics, and athletics. We have a lot of leadership development opportunities as well that we focus on, and there is leadership-driven curriculum as well. And then for our sports, 26 varsity sports, 3 of which are D1, are sailing, rifle, and pistol. So if you can't, you know, when you think of Coast Guard, we shoot and we're on the water. So those are kind of how I like to remind people that those are 3. And then over 50 cadet activities. For the application itself, 4 letters of recommendation: English, math, the physical fitness exam counts as a letter of recommendation, then your guidance counselor. PFE, what's that? It's different from the CFA. The PFE is our version of the physical fitness evaluation, and all the information is on the online application to include a PFE manual. We also do require SAT and ACT test scores. We do super score. That being said, currently, our policy is as follows. Early action applicants, we do require the SAT and the ACT. However, for regular admission, we want to see that you took every opportunity to take a test. However, we understand the complications due to COVID. If you're ultimately unable to take an SAT or an ACT, you can still submit your application and we will still review it on a case-by-case basis. We just ask that you narrate kind of your experience and what you did to try to obtain those scores in a personal statement. And that's included as well. We do also have a music and athletic potential review. So for those who are varsity athletes currently, or just athletes in general that are looking to play at the academy, reach out to the coaches. You can do this by either hitting the Recruit Me tab on our athletics page or emailing the coaches directly through the staff directory. That does play a competitive nature in your application. Same for music potential review. If you play an instrument, if you sing, if you're in orchestra, anything of that nature, reach out to our music director. Same goes for that. And then, of course, we have all the different clubs and activities available. Dates: early action deadline is October 15th. Regular admission deadline is January 15th. We did extend that. It's not January 29th. We did extend it to account for just making sure everyone has the time that they need to put together a competitive application despite the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'll leave it there just to kind of do a modified quick version of our typical brief, but if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I have included my email in the chat, and then both my office and my cell phone are listed on the website. Primary resource, here to help, love to connect.
Thanks so much. We'll next turn over to the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy with Lieutenant Commander Watson.
Good evening, everyone. First to Congressman Delgado, I thank you for hosting this event. And to all the young men and women who's on this call, if you're on this call, I'm assuming you're telling me that you're better than everyone else. Because I'm not looking for everyone. I'm looking for the best. As you have heard everyone before me state, we build leaders. And it takes a lot. So not everyone is made out to be a leader. But if you're on this call, then you're telling me that you have what it takes to become a member of one of our academies. I am the Director of Admissions at the Merchant Marine Academy. So what does that mean? I am the final individual that recommends to the superintendent who gives the appointment, who's receiving an appointment. I'm also a retired Marine. I'm also a retired campus president for higher education. I say those things because I love when I'm given the opportunity to reach out or present to young men and women to help them get to the next step on their road to success. This evening, I'm not going to talk too much about the application process because you're going to hear it over and over because it's almost the same thing. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about the differences and what makes the United States Merchant Marine Academy so special. First of all, we're located in Kings Point, New York, right off the Long Island Sound, with 16 miles outside of Manhattan. The United States Merchant Marine Academy falls under the umbrella of the Department of Transportation. The United States Merchant Marine Academy is the only service academy that you can go to, graduate from, and become an officer in any branch of the service you want to. So if you want to be an Air Force officer, come to the Merchant Marine. You want to be a naval officer, come to the Merchant Marine. Army, Coast Guard, you can achieve that goal by coming through the Merchant Marines. Now, we also like to consider ourselves the academy of choice. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You already heard me say that you can go to any branch of the service that you want to, but you can also choose to either go into the maritime industry or active duty military, or go military, or part-time as a reservist in any branch of the service. Now, how you fulfill those obligations? If you choose to go into the maritime industry, your obligation is 5 years in the maritime industry and 8 years in one of the branches as reserve. Now, if you decide to go into active duty, you must spend at least 5 years on active duty service. Now, one might say, well, what is the Merchant Marine? You know, every time I go somewhere, I say the Merchant Marine Academy. Well, nobody knows what a Merchant Marine is. At least you don't think you know. We are the most important thing in your life every day of the week. If you stop and think about everything you use every day of the week, I promise you 95% of it was made someplace other than America. So that cell phone that you love so much, made someplace other than America. The car that your family drives, I know we all agree that 95% of the cars on the road are foreign. You stop and think, cell phone, TV, cars, clothes on your body, most of it is made somewhere else. So it prompts the question, how does it get to America? Shipping, that's right. Merchant Marine Academy is essentially the shipping industry. But our mission is twofold. Number one, we assist the military with moving large equipment from one arena to the other. And the other thing is we support the economic needs of America. When we talk about importing and exporting goods, that's supporting the economic needs of America. To be able to have that choice. Now, you'll come to our school, you get the free tuition, you get the free room and board just like everyone else. But you can go through our school and we're not going to tell you that you have to go into the maritime industry. It is your choice. You still have that power of decision that this is the way I want to fulfill my obligation from receiving a free education. The other thing I like to talk to you about the Merchant Marine Academy, if you like traveling, everyone loves to travel. Every student that comes to our school see anywhere between 15 and 20 countries while they're in school. In between your freshman and sophomore year, you go out to sea for 4 months. And then you'll come back to the academy. And in between your junior and senior year, you go out to sea for 8 months. Pause, no, you're not gonna just be floating in the water for a whole 8 months. No, you're gonna do what I call sea hopping. 1 week you might be in China. Next week you might be somewhere else in the world. You just bounce from one ship to the other. But this is the important thing about sea year. Number one, you're already in school and you're getting the academic portion that you need. But sea year is important because this gives you an opportunity to go out in the real world and learn and work next to people that's actually doing the job that you're doing, that you're learning in school. So what does that mean? When you graduate, you're going to graduate from college with a Bachelor of Science degree, but you also going to graduate with a year's worth of experience. Earlier, you heard me say that I'm also a retired college president. I used to see my students graduate all the time. I used to talk to the employers. And employers all had one complaint. They said, you gave me a lot of smart students, but they don't have no experience. But you don't have to worry about that with someone that's graduating from the Merchant Marine Academy. Because our students are graduating with a degree and they're graduating with a year worth of experience. And that's one of the reasons why they start off with one of the highest paid salaries. The average person that go into the maritime industry starting salary is between $85,000 and $145,000 a year, straight out of school. Now you think about it, you have that option to go into the maritime industry or the military. You heard everyone say 100% placement, we're the same thing. So if you're looking for adventure, you're looking for travel, you're looking for job security, and you're looking to have the power of choice in deciding your destiny after school, then United States Merchant Marine Academy is the place for you. Once again, I'm Lieutenant Commander Watson. I'm the Director of Admissions. Feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the chat, but I invite you also to visit our website at www.usmma.edu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander Watson. Next, we're going to move on to the Navy ROTC representative, Petty Officer Second Class Holmes.
Hey everybody, first, like everybody else, I'd like to thank Congressman Delgado for putting this together for us. Hopefully, can y'all hear me? All right, just make sure. Yeah, so I'm the NROTC coordinator. I didn't go through the NROTC myself, but if you're gonna put an application in to try to get into the NROTC program, I'm the person that you're gonna go through. NROTC is like the academies. The only difference is instead of going to a military academy where everybody's trying to do the military stuff, you're going to be going to a regular college. We have 150 plus colleges to choose from that have NROTC involvement. So, you're not necessarily going to be, you're going to be doing like the same exact things, going out for summers, doing those kinds of things. But we do that. So I don't know all the information there is to know about ROTC because, again, I'm not an officer and I didn't go through the program. I will help you through your application process, and I can get you any answers you're looking for because I do talk to the NROTC officers at SUNY Maritime and at Rutgers University regularly. So if I don't know the answer to a question that you have, they most certainly will, and I'll be able to get that for you. Other than that, I'm more apt to answering questions than to giving out a whole bunch of information. So if you need any help or you want to ask me anything, I put my email up there. Feel free to email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right, that's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks, Owen. Appreciate it. Now we're going to go to our last person, Second Lieutenant Sochinsky from Air Force ROTC.
All right, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Second Lieutenant Lucas Sochinsky. I represent Air Force ROTC, based out of New York City, as well as the entire state of New York. So like everybody else has said, we only have 5 minutes, so we can't get in too much into the details and the nitty-gritty of everything. But what I'd like to give you is just kind of a summarized, condensed overview of what Air Force ROTC is. Similar to Navy ROTC, Air Force ROTC is one of the 3 major commissioning programs for the United States Air Force, with the first one being the United States Air Force Academy, who spoke earlier, and the other one is Officer Training School, which is how our enlisted personnel become officers. Air Force ROTC is offered at over 1,100 colleges and universities in the country, so pretty much any normal college or university you want to go to, they more than likely have an Air Force ROTC detachment. So while the academies are obviously going to be located in one central location across the country, Air Force ROTC is something you can participate in at almost any major university or college or through some sort of crosstown program. Our program is a 3 to 4 year long program. So we do have cadets that will join their sophomore year instead of their freshman year. That does make them ineligible for our high school scholarship, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But it is possible to essentially kind of take that freshman year to get used to college, get used to the lifestyle, and really think about if you want to get involved with ROTC or not. Air Force ROTC does guarantee you an active duty slot upon graduation, provided you don't get gypped for anything medical or have any academic issues. If you do graduate and commission, you will go into an active duty position after graduation. So college life. So the big thing that separates ROTC from the academies is it is a more traditional college experience. So you do go to a regular university or college, and you participate in ROTC while you are a student at that college. So you are students before cadets. We do expect our cadets to get involved in everything outside of ROTC that they can. We want them to get involved in their campus and their community. That's through Greek life, so fraternities and sororities, intramural sports, clubs, honor societies. I was heavily involved in I was a history major, was heavily involved in our research honor society, got to work with my professors doing some first world kind of research and do some really cool things with that. Completely outside of ROTC. I was in a fraternity. I got to do intramurals. We were the 4-year undefeated softball champions, no big deal. But had a great time. It was awesome getting to go hang out with my friends after my ROTC class was done for the day, and really had a great time with that. Academically, you're only looking at one class, one weekly class, one weekly lab, and as well as 2 hours of PT a week. It is the military. Fitness is very important to us. So we do have those PT requirements. But besides that one class, that one lab, and those PTs, your time is your own to be a student and get involved and have your own life outside of the program. One thing I will touch on lightly is a flagship program we call Project Global Officer. So it's only offered to ROTC, and essentially what it is it is a Air Force funded language immersion program. So if you are interested in learning a foreign language, we will send some of our students that are selected for that program to go take those courses over the summer, generally after their freshman year, learn that language. And then after their sophomore year, a lot of times they can get sent across the world to study abroad and learn that language. Like I had a friend who studied Russian, and the Air Force paid for him to go to Belarus and the Ukraine to learn to speak that language for a summer. So that was a really cool experience. We'll finish up by just briefly talking about our scholarships. We do offer full tuition scholarships, covers 100% tuition and fees. That does include an annual book stipend. So you get $900 a year to pay for all your textbooks. And if you have anything left over, it's all yours. That also comes with a monthly stipend up to $500, which is 100% your money. You can spend that however you deem necessary. Being competitive for our scholarships, they are highly competitive scholarships. Generally, they are geared towards STEM majors. 80% of our scholarships do go to students who are pursuing those STEM majors. But if you're wanting to go non-tech, I highly encourage you to still apply, because almost a quarter of our applicants who are non-tech do still get those. But to be competitive, yes, sir. Thank you. To be competitive, you do want to make sure you have those high SAT, ACT scores. As of right now, we are still requiring those to be eligible to apply. If that changes, obviously that will be sent out as soon as it comes down. You do want to make sure that you have good fitness. You don't have to pass our fitness test. You just have to attempt it. But similar to the academies and Navy ROTC, you just want to make sure you're a good, well-rounded individual. During your interview, that's what we're going to be looking for more than anything else. So I'll go and put my contact information in the chat box for everybody. But I do want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to all of you. If you have any questions about our scholarship, or just any questions about the Air Force or college in general, please feel free to reach out to me. And God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, LT. So we're going to go to Q&A phase really quickly. The first question we have is, I would like to know at what grade we want to apply for the ROTC program. On what grade should a student reach out to their liaison officer? So for the ROTC, for LTs, at what grade should they?
So for Air Force, the application is open to you at the beginning of your junior year. What I tell students, though, is to start looking into it and start reaching out to their local recruiter towards the end of their junior year, or after they have those SAT, ACT scores, because that kind of helps them know if they're going to be eligible. But yeah, generally reach out at the end of your junior year, but the application will actually open up to you at the beginning of your senior year, or that summer before your senior year, actually.
Great, thanks. And as well as with the other services, the timeline is somewhat similar. So you're going to start your junior year when you start the application, and then you do have to finish before you graduate. The second one is for the Air Force Academy. Does participation in the Civil Air Patrol increase a chance at a nomination to the Air Force Academy?
It definitely helps, but more so we're looking to see that you you moved up in the ranks and you held a leadership position. And this really applies to any club or extracurricular activity.
Great. And then also similarly with the other academies doing junior ROTC at some of the schools, it does provide an extra avenue of a nomination through the process, but also it is an example of leadership that is pretty solid. Number 4 is how has coronavirus affected the application process? These will vary by the different services that you're applying to. So reach out directly to those folks. And also they were covered in this call. If you are applying to multiple academies, how does that work? So if you choose to apply to multiple academies, I applied, I was accepted to the Naval Academy, West Point, and the Coast Guard Academy. When you apply in your application, there will be a block that you will check that says you want to apply to all of them for the nomination process. As the committee, we will consider you for every single academy that you wish to apply to. So if you say, hey, I want to apply to all 4, then we will have you for all 4. And also, kind of help with the process for the Coast Guard Academy. it is on you to complete the 4 different individual applications to those service academies. They do not carry over. It is not one big, large system. So you do have to do particular essays and letters of recommendation for that. One of the questions that we also had that was in the chat was with regards to folks who were applying from smaller schools as far as the opportunity to take difficult coursework. So particularly that was with regards do students face an adverse disadvantage with rural schools if they choose to attend or choose to compete to attend a service academy? With that, and to kind of echo the sentiments that you heard today, it is a total applicant process. So, you know, with the academics, I have seen, and I know all the reps can say that we've seen a variety of ways in which folks have kind of gone outside the norm to try to seek those classes. There is an opportunity, if you can, to take classes at a local university, and also a variety of ways to do that. Another question that we have is, does a leadership position in the United States Naval Sea Cadet Corps help with regards to an application for the Air Force ROTC or USAFA? Do one of you all want to take that?
As far as ROTC, absolutely, we do, like I said, we kind of look at that well-rounded individual concept. So if you show that you were involved in some sort of leadership organization, such as the one you mentioned, or like the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, what have you, that looks really good in your interview. When the interviewer says, hey, like, what did you do in high school? Did you just go home after school and do nothing, or did you get involved? Did you try to make yourself better? Did you try to get those leadership experiences at a younger age? So absolutely, that does look really good in the interview and on your overall application.
Great, thanks. One of the questions is also, how do the academics offer differ between the academies and the particular branches? So as you saw in the presentations this evening, they do vary a bit. What you will see is a congruence that if you go to a service academy, you will get a bachelor's of science. These are engineering and STEM programs. So, you know, as it is encouraged to take those courses, so it's, you know, your science with a lab, whether that's biology or chemistry, and also be familiar with calculus and even pre-calculus. But as far as the academic offerings, it does vary, and in a way it is tailored. So as you saw, if you're going to the Coast Guard and there are things that are more maritime focused or to US MMA, you're going to have those opportunities. If you go to the Air Force Academy, you're going to see the aerospace engineering. There'll be more resources driven towards that. So the academic palette is more tailored to what the mission of each branch is. Like the Army and the Air Force, will the Naval Academy have any lenience towards the SAT? I'm guessing that is in regards to COVID and the ability to take it. What do we have from the Naval Academy?
Yeah, so in regards to SAT, ACT, we are understanding that some students might not have the ability to take a test or dealing with test cancellations. We are having applicants go to board if they do not complete SAT or ACT. The thing we ask is that you reach out to your admissions counselor, which is linked in your application, to let them know the circumstances, let them know this specific situation to them, so that way they can convey that at the board. Like if you had 3 tests canceled on you, but also if you have a single score, we are understanding that people aren't getting the opportunity to take it multiple times. We ask that you do send that single score, and we will understand that it might be lower than traditionally because you only had 1 attempt at the test.
One of the last questions that we have is, what is a typical career path of a military officer? And I would say that it is quite varied, depending on what branch you choose, whether you choose to go active duty, like you have the opportunity at the Academy of Choice at USMMA, or if you go reserves. And a lot of what it comes down to is, you know, at the end of the day, what the service academies and ROTC does is creates leaders. So it's whether you're leading a platoon or a section of 4 cyber warriors in the Coast Guard, or if you're in the Army as an infantry officer and you're leading 30 young men and women in a faraway land. So it does depend on really what you want to get into. In the Naval Academy's brief, they did talk about the difference with respect to commitments. If you do choose to become a pilot, or let's say a doctor, or things of that nature, so do be aware of that. But that's all information that you will get once you get there and begin to understand it. And trust and believe, you might want to do one thing when you start at the academy, but you'll probably change your mind at least twice when you get there, and you might even change your major twice. Any last questions before we wrap up? Can you become a pilot out of the Merchant Marine Academy? So I'm going to send that straight to Lieutenant Commander Watson.
Yeah, the answer to that question is yes. Most flight schools have slots. As you heard me say earlier, you can really go from us and go into any branch of the service. Every year we have individuals graduate and go to flight schools. Those flight schools normally have slots designated for different people from different academies, and we normally fulfill ours every year.
Great. Then last question we see is there a specific track in some academies for highly focused athletes? I think that also was covered. So it was, with regards to the Coast Guard Academy, is to reach out to the coaches directly. Being it's a D3, there is particular ways with the clearinghouse that it would depend there. With the D1 schools, which would be the Air Force Academy, Coast, West Point, and the Naval Academy, you can reach out with the coaches, but double check with your coaches at home to understand that you're not breaking any protocol. As far as on our side of it, sitting on the committee, that is a question that we do not ask. So your competitiveness to gain a nomination based on you being an athlete is something that is between you and your coach, or you and the university. But sitting on the panel, we are most concerned about is character and competence, and are you choosing to become a leader to serve your country? So just to wrap up, I want to thank everybody for coming, and continue to ask questions if you have them with the office. But also from the committee's perspective, I will say the number one thing that we look for is folks who are committed to really serving their country in a way, and also committed to trying a variety of ways to do so. So if you feel that you are going to apply to all the service academies, it's great. Come in, be respectful, be ready to answer some tough questions as we're going to ask you why you want to serve and kind of what your roles are. And then the last thing I will say is, if you are applying to only service academies, and the question is, if you do not get into a service academy, will you consider ROTC? The answer to that question should be yes. So just ensure that this is about an avenue to service and an avenue to become a great leader. So there's no more questions. I want to thank all of our panelists for coming today, as well as the congressman and everybody. Remember, the applications are due on October 30th at 5 p.m. Sign on to, or log on to delgado.house.gov, and then you will click on services, and then it will say military academy nominations, and go from there, and hit up the office if you have any other questions. Thank you, everyone.